feedback, and I'm not really quite sure why, but it is what it is. It is what it is. One day we're just going to have to fool around with the sound and everything else like that. Right now, we have kind of a breaking news case that was breaking this morning when we came live here, and it's of Emmanuel. And Emmanuel is a 7-month-old baby. We learned it from one of our audience members here in the chat, and we kind of stopped our regular our regular morning show just to kind of go to this breaking news. And we got right on into it, and there was already things that, we do this a lot. We're very familiar with a lot of stuff because we cover a lot of different topics, including domestic violence, older people that, children, people that have problems, illnesses, substance abuse, just a whole gamut. So we see a lot. We've seen drowning victims. We've seen other types of atrocities that may not even rise to a criminal element. And so when a lot of people look at this lady's face, many of us come from domestic violence. One of the reasons, hold on, let me make sure. I feel like I'm echoing here. Hold on a second. Am I echoing? Hopefully I'm not echoing. If I'm echoing, I'm sorry. But many of us come from domestic violence. Many of us have worn a black eye. Many of us have had to cover up bruises and things like that. What is it saying, Betty? I share a case in Massachusetts, pregnant 18-year-old woman missing since August 7th. Thank you. And make sure that when you guys are sharing stuff, I've got to change some settings on the Facebook, our Bullhorn Betty Facebook. I went in there and realized there was a lot of stuff that hadn't been approved, and it was a lot of missing people. So please keep pushing those missing people through the Facebook group, and I'll start putting it on my, my regular schedule to start checking it and pushing those posts through. I'm not on Facebook. One of the least platforms I'm on is Facebook. So I try to keep up to date with it, but you can always send that stuff to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, and I can post it myself, and it'll be posted immediately. So there's that. I've been adding missing people every day to the Facebook group. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you. Volume, please. You might have to turn up your own volume. My volume is about as loud as it's going to be able to go on my end without busting my eardrums. So I've got everything up as high as it can go. Can everybody hear me, or is it just somebody's volume? We've got the microphone my decibels are like, almost to the red. So I have to think, yeah, I can hear that. Oh, thank you. Who was that? That was from, we're getting some people. Oh, look at that. Thank you. So Emma just gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, which it is Trina. Trina, welcome to this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Everybody can hear me fine. Perfect. I love that. I love that. So we looked at their behavior, and maybe we should go back over that again. Let me see if I've got that in my history of YouTube, because I believe it was a YouTube article. I may have pulled up the article as well, but let me just go through my history, because we did go through something, and we did see the interview. Here it is. I think it's this one. We did see the interview of the mom and father, and quite frankly, we didn't believe it. Okay, we felt hoaxy, and the reason why it's important, because these things matter. When we have a child missing, we want to get the word out. This woman is describing a major attack. Let me just give you guys the background. So if you're not new, or if you're not familiar with this case, Emmanuel, that's his mother right there, and her name is it Rebecca? Her name is Rebecca. Her husband's name is Jake, and she describes this horrific event. She's at a game with her son. Her son needs one of her older sons. Her son needs a mouth guard. She goes up to the local sporting goods store. She realizes the baby needs to be changed. As a good mother, she opens the back door, lays the child down on the seat, and starts undoing the diaper. As she's turning around, somebody is tapping on her shoulder and says something to her in Spanish, and she says that that's the last thing she remembers. That's it. And she's sporting around this black eye. Now, if you guys have seen anything, let me just show you this. Do you guys remember, what was it? The Jazz Fest Brawl? Cincinnati? Okay. Cincinnati. Okay. Now, we watched this lady get knocked the hell out. Okay? Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Knocked the hell out. She was cold. This is what this mother is describing happened to her. No, she said that somebody came up behind her. She turned around. They punched her in her face and knocked her out. I want to show you what a black eye from being knocked out looks like. Right here. Okay, this woman sported that around for days. 4 days. And when we come back to Mother Dearest, oops, what's wrong? Wrong one. I think it's this one here. No. Oh, I don't even have it on here. Let me just take this off. Oh, maybe it's because it was behind me. Let me take that off. And then, of course, we have Mother Dearest with a healing black eye. Oh, Frida, it's nice to see you. Frida from New Zealand. Thank you. Yes, a lot of red flags. I agree with you, Remy. I agree with you. It is getting really, really out of hand. Okay? We have a crisis. Okay? I don't know if every other country is like this or if it's just our country. But we have a crisis with our parents. We have a family crisis. Okay? We have a family crisis here in America where our families, whether it's your children or whether it's your parents, feel like they have the right to put their hands on you and injure you if you don't agree. This is a 7-month-old child. There is no reason why anybody should be hitting this child, putting their hands on this child at all. And we looked at this child's photos just from a few months ago. Now, mind you, this is a 7-month-old child. He's got a huge scar over his eye, and his eye looks deformed. I thought he had some type of learning disability or something else until I saw some other photos, and now I am convinced that he was abused. And that was a gash from the abuse. It is worldwide. You're right, Faye. You're right. Evil exists on under every rock, every nook and cranny of this universe. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And it's just sad. But you know what? They're cowards. These parents, and I want to say, because to be honest with you, we look at a lot of abused women too. And I can't help but to see an abused woman here that's probably gone through some pretty a pretty rough life at the hands of the man she's with. Now, it's not giving her a free pass. No. The minute she gets out of his clutches, if she doesn't say something, she's just as culpable as him. You got to remember, she is still in his clutches because he was standing right next to her as she's giving that interview to the news people, the reporter, the investigative reporter. And he's still angry. I believe he's the one that gave her that black eye. But I also believe that there's a piece of her that might be terrified. And again, doesn't give her an excuse. She should be a mess. She should be an absolute mess right now. She had no tears, I spy. Yep, we noticed that as well. No tears whatsoever. Law enforcement is now saying she has inconsistent statements. Inconsistent statements. And guys, we've been talking about this because we talk about tough topics on this channel. And at what point, like, I truly believe if you have been charged, you have been convicted of harming a child, or any of your children are in the state. I mean, it's, I shouldn't say I feel this way, because I am conflicted. I'm on the fence, because if you know anything about me, I want our government out of our lives. I don't want them telling us what to do, blah 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 blah. I'm not going to get on my soapbox. But at what point do we say enough is enough? This is where my confliction comes in, because I feel like if you have your children in the state, if the government and the taxpayers are paying for any of your children, and you're not supporting that child financially by child support, even if that child's not in your custody, I don't think you should be able to have any more children. Is that too harsh? But that's just my belief, but I don't want that. I don't want government mandating that. Or at what point should government mandate that? But we'll get on that on another topic. But you're right. We're seeing this all too often, but there is a family problem going on here in the United States, where our children, our young children, if they don't get their way, or their mommy and daddy do what we ask them to do and punish their children when they're acting a fool and take away their electronics, well, now moms and dads have to worry about going to sleep and that child shooting them because they took away their phone as a form of punishment. So let's be fair here. We don't have a parent problem. We have a family problem. We have a unconditional love problem in this country, because when we have family, we're supposed to unconditionally love our family members, no? Yet all too often we find ourselves talking about cases just like this, where we now have a child missing. We can tell that the mom is not being truthful. When you're reliving something, if she's not just trembling in fear and tears pouring out of her uncontrollably, then she's not reliving that nightmare. Yet she's talking about it so soon after. To me, that doesn't make sense, because I look at people's normal bodies, normal behaviors, and normal emotions that are typical from one human being to another. And when I start seeing a human being acting different than what would be the norm of a normal, healthy human being, then I'm looking at it like, hey, we've got a problem here. And I think this is a situation where we knew immediately we had a problem. And I'm going to show you why, because this is the story that I played this morning. And this is the problem that we had here on this show once this was all said and done. So let's go ahead and get this played, and then we'll have a conversation about it.
A boy reported missing in Yucaipa. The boy's...
Okay, and the name is Yucaipa. I did watch Pascal. And Pascal, if you do watch the Bullhorn Betty channel, which I'm sure you probably don't, but if you do, I just want to say I did the same thing. Tough names. I don't know where these names come from in our country, but my Hooked on Phonics is broken. I don't know why my Hooked on Phonics. I remember doing the phonics, program, and I try to look at this stuff, and I'm telling you, I could sit here. It would take me a half hour to figure that says you. Well, we'll get back to the show. Maybe they'll help me out with it again. Okay. If you guys can hear it, could you guys hear everything fine? I did run it just a little bit. Was there even a diaper back? Was there even a child? Typically when we have situations, these type of hoaxes, they don't even bring the child out to the scene. They just get out of their car, make a big ordeal, and then call it in. And then it's like, oh, well, we don't even see the child here. Because there was something, wasn't there something where maybe it was that... I don't know, the one in Texas. Remember, she was from an Afghan family, She was 5 years old, and everybody's like, wait a minute, or 4 years old, and everybody's like, wait a minute, she looks much older than 4 years old. Do you guys remember which one I'm talking about from Texas? Well, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they take like a empty stroller or something? Didn't somebody say there was an empty stroller where somebody had taken a child up to a park? Maybe I'm mistaking it. Maybe it's not in Texas, but I could remember that I almost feel like I remember a story where somebody rolled a child cart to a park, acted like the child cart, the buggy was full, with the child, and then start screaming and hollering that the child was abducted, and come to find out the child was never even in the buggy to begin with. They just did it for the whole ordeal. And yeah, Orrin and Orson West, Lisa B always says, and that was, those two children, as ironic as it is, they never, from my understanding in the way that the trial went, it doesn't sound like they passed away together. It sounds like one went and the other one knew too much, and later made the decision to go ahead and take that one too. It's sick. It's sick where we're at in this world, and you cannot tell me that these people don't know what they're doing. I don't like the guy, and you're going to see why. Let's just watch this, and we'll have a conversation after this clip is played.
His mother claiming he was taken from a Yucaipa parking lot.
Yeah, Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan just spoke to the family, and he is live in Yucaipa with the latest. Rob.
Well, not only is this family desperate to find out what happened out here, but so are detectives with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, who have returned to the scene where a 7-month-old baby boy was reportedly kidnapped right out of this Big 5 parking lot. Let's bring up his picture right now. This is 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro, one of 5 children in this family from Cabazon, reportedly kidnapped last night in Yucaipa. Now, his mom told me that they were here last night at a nearby football stadium in Yucaipa with the other kids playing.
So the name is Yucaipa. Again, the reiteration of what I said on my intro coming in, they were at a park. He needed something. This is a big, a known sporting goods store.
Football, and she had to run down here to Big 5 to buy some equipment for her stepson, specifically a mouth guard. When she got here to the parking lot, she says that's when she noticed her 7-month-old's diaper needed to be changed. So she says she got out of her truck, went around to the back, and laid him down on the seat to change his diaper.
You cannot tell me that a store like this in broad daylight, a Big Lots, and a Big 5, and this was what we had said this morning, is that you cannot tell me that nobody saw nothing. And she's basically saying, well, he tapped me on the shoulder and then just hit me. So I think she's trying to say that she didn't even have an opportunity to scream. That doesn't sound right. You're telling me that baby wasn't screaming and crying? That's what I'm saying. No witnesses, Ruby? That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, look at this shopping plaza. Don't tell me there was nobody there in broad daylight. I don't believe it. And I'd have to think, but you know what? I know everybody believes that this day and age there are cameras everywhere. I don't know. Does anybody know how large Yucaipa is? Let me look it up here. Do we know how to spell Yucaipa? Let's see if the... Yucaipa, California, population. So 54,000 people, so they have it's not a huge population, but it's a decent population. But that doesn't necessarily equate to cameras being in the parking lot. And the reason why I say this is because surprisingly enough, when I was doing the case of Layla Santinello, that plaza, that big plaza that had, what all did it, Sonia, you might have to help me here. What all did it have? It had Five Below. It had the creamery in it. Was it Ross? Was it Ross that we went into? And then it had a PetSmart. So you have some, and a furniture store. I think Ashley's Furniture closed up shortly after Layla Santinello left. But you're talking about national brands in this Ross. Okay, perfect. You're talking about national brands in this plaza. Even what was out front? Chili, was it Chili's or Olive Garden? And even across the main little intersection there was a Starbucks. So you're talking about a national chain type of shopping plaza. Not one camera in the parking lot. Not one blessed camera in the parking lot. I was for sure that there were cameras in that parking lot. And come to find out, Kingsport, Tennessee doesn't even really have even a lot of road cameras. This was shocking to me, guys. And it was shocking to me because I'm accustomed to being from Florida. In Florida, even whether it's force-fed, I try to, privacy stuff. But, even me, I'm willing to give up a little privacy for some safety. You know what I'm saying? Even though it goes against, my drumbeat, and it does. I'm hypocritical at times. At least I own it. But at the end of the day, sometimes I'm willing to give up the privacy. Sometimes we don't really have a choice. The choice is made for us. I can go in there and argue, moan and groan to my politicians that this is, government overreach, this blah, 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 blah. But we have cameras on our lights. Just about, I don't even know if we put lights in Manatee County anymore without installing a traffic camera. Like, if you were to rob any place, it doesn't even matter if the blessed road has no cameras on their, like, Ring doorbell cameras. Like, the whole neighborhood can't afford Ring doorbell cameras. The minute you get to an intersection with a light, you're cooked, buddy. You're cooked, buddy, because we're going to have your license plate, the description of your car, and our cameras are so stinking good, if we zoom in, we're going to see your face. Okay? What do you do? I love it, but I hate it. I love it, but I hate it. But in these towns, I don't know. So unless somebody is from Yucaipa, I don't know what their what type of cameras. Maybe we'll go. You know what we'll do after we're done with this segment of the story? We'll go research Google Maps and see, or maybe even Google Earth, and see if we can go take a walk in the parking lot and see if we can identify any exterior cameras. I think that would probably be the best. If somebody wants to proactively do that and start sending that to me, that would be awesome as well. Spencer says, this is way out in San Bernardino, California. I've only driven through a few times driving to San Diego, but it's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I was thinking it was another city. Wow. Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. So it sounds like this is kind of maybe, in a more rural area. This might be in town to the rural area. So I guess we'll get a better understanding once we get our eyes on the map. So let's go ahead and get back to this, and then we'll put up the map.
When she was attacked from behind. Now, we did speak with her a short time ago about what she says happened here in this parking lot last night, right around sunset.
I got him out of the car seat, and
Okay, listen, folks. This lady here is telling her story. She's about to relive this event. Now, again, many of you guys identified in the first round when we did a live this morning. This was an impromptu story because somebody had come in here and told us about this case. So we immediately stopped what we were doing, popped this up, 7-month-old child missing. It's an all hands on deck type of thing when you're dealing with an infant child, at least from my perspective. So we stopped the show and went to this story. And as soon as I saw this, one of the main things in our channel, which is, it's pretty sad, but some of our audience members here know what it's like to be punched in the face, know what it's like to wear a black eye, and can tell whether or not this is an old black eye or not. I know. Faye says she reminds me of Leilani's fake crying. If Leilani did a fake cry too, we couldn't get her to cry. Like I pushed that lady and said some of the things that it was breaking me apart inside to try to stay a cold stone face and say the type of stuff that I was saying to her. It was bothering me, and she didn't even flinch. And you want to talk about an ice cold lady? Leilani Simon, that is one ice cold lady. That is one ice cold lady. She didn't like her son because of the man she chose to procreate that son with. And she punished that son every chance she got. This lady here is sporting in our opinion, for the Bullhorn Betty show. And again, it's our opinion. Do your own research, come up with your own opinions, theories, and speculation. But it is the opinion of the Bullhorn Betty channel that this black eye did not come from that interaction in the parking lot. One, I don't believe the interaction in the parking lot actually happened. But two, many people have already acknowledged that this looks like it's a healing black eye, not a recent black eye. And we even brought up what somebody that's knocked out looks like and how their face looks. We're not dealing with something like this. We're dealing with something like this. Big difference. Big difference. One thing she is doing that I'm noticing here is she's reliving, she's got to tell the story, envision it, recount it, and her voice is shaking. She's trying to play the part, but there are no tears coming out of her eye. Her 7-month-old child was just ripped from her arms. She was beaten to a bloody pulp, and she is just more calm than I have ever seen a mama bear. Almost as calm as Katie Proudfoot. Almost as calm as Katie Proudfoot. But I think the only person that trumps Katie Proudfoot's calmness is Malaya Brooks Murray.
I laid him down and so I could get his diapers ready. And somebody said, "Hola," and that's all I remember. And I saw white. And a hearing sound, I fell on the floor. And
Look at that child's eye right there. That child's eye has no scar. Looks like a normal developing eye. The most recent photo of this child shows a deformed eye. How did a 7-month-old child go from an eye that looks normal to a deformed eye? Can someone please explain that to me? Because I'm having a hard time understanding that. And that is one thing that we knew, because to be honest with you, the way he looked, I thought maybe he had some either deformities or some type of birthing issues that came on, until it came to this beautiful photo right here. And then I realized that poor little baby has been a punching bag.
And I said, as I got up, I couldn't find my son. I checked all around my truck, and I ran into Big 5, and I asked the lady if she saw a baby or someone with a baby. She said no. It was a happy boy.
Look at that child. That child looks happy to you? That child does not look happy to me. That child does not look happy to me. This to me is some sick stuff.
He smiled. Mackenzie loved to kiss him.
He was a healthy baby. He was.
You know, she looks like she's happy and she cares for her child. I'm sorry. This photo shows a normal mom that appears to love her child. Cheyenne, I agree with that. I think the husband's the problem. I'm sorry, guys. I know how we feel about moms and protecting your child, especially from monsters. We understand that. Oh, I need to go get my drink. Give me just a second. I gotta have something. I'm getting parched. guys. I looked around and realized, holy crap, I don't even have a bottle of water in here. Usually I've got something that I can get by with, but nothing. Nothing. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. If you guys don't know, we have a lot of shirts, and we also, Sonia has a shirt. She can design you anything you want. So we do have some Bullhorn Betty swag that's on Sonia's site, so please get with her if you want some Bullhorn Betty swag. But if you want something just for yourself, is there a birthday coming up, an anniversary coming up? Is there, I gotta tell you, me and Delilah have matching shirts, okay? So do you have that favorite animal? If you have that favorite animal, please, reach out to Sonia. Sonia does great work, and she's always making sure that she's advocating for the missing, and you will know as soon as you receive the package and you see it littered with missing person stamps all over it, and you see a package of missing person cards in there. She does her part getting these missing persons across the country, and you're part of that help with every single order. So thank you. Thank you for that. Good evening, Seth. It is nice to see you. I see you saying hi to everybody else, and I'm feeling left out over here, bud. Did I miss it? Did I miss the BHB one? I'm just saying. Aw, thank you. Daughter hater has cross eyes like... I think you misspelled that, but has crossed eyes like baby boy, in my opinion. I don't think they're crossed eyes. I think they have some type of Oriental, either Philippine, Japanese, or China, or another Asian type of, if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. But it looks like there are some features that seem like that. I don't see them. I don't see the baby girl's eyes crossed. Actually, I didn't even see the baby boy's eyes crossed. I just thought something was wrong with the eye because I didn't know until we saw that other photo, and I realized that child was not born with the eye looking like that. Something happened to that poor little precious baby before this. And I think that woman knows. I don't know. There's just something in me, and I could be way off base. I've been off base before. I mean, let's look at Jen Soto as a prime example of how off base I've been in the past, because I was having a hard time believing a mother. I am absolutely convinced she knew what was going on between her daughter and Stefan. And there's nobody that's going to convince me otherwise, but it took a long time for me to get there. And I don't know. I feel like I may be way off base here, but deep in my gut, I feel like this woman has been abused, and I think this guy, I don't like the husband. I'll tell you that, Jake is sending all kinds of vibes. I don't like him. I don't like him. He hasn't done anything. He looks normal. He looks like a normal father you would see at a baseball, whatever. But I'm telling you, I don't like him. Betty Dad has a history. We found that out. And an abusive history at that. But before we found that out, I didn't like him. I didn't like him at all. Father has child abuse charges. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Father has child abuse charges from 2022. Wow. And that's what we found out in the first show. But it wasn't until after, used past tense, and we picked that up too. That's another problem I have in the story. So before we get ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and play that part.
He was crawling, he was kicking, he was playing with his toys. Whoever took our son,
I do not like him.
Please give him back.
Members of this community also desperate to find out where.
Nope. And we didn't like him. But it wasn't here. We knew what we knew, okay? We knew that this didn't feel right. We knew it made us feel all kinds of icky. Something wasn't wrong. Or something was wrong. We knew something was wrong. We felt it. Something wasn't letting us sit easy with either one of these parents' explanation. And this is before this CBS news clip. Okay? And this CBS news clip, Thank you. Darn autocorrect. I know. I do. But you guys know me. I'm. Give me just a second. I got to move this screen capture over just a little bit so we can capture the whole thing here. So that was before this right here, where authorities have now come out, which, we kind of, let's be honest, we kind of knew this was coming because we did not believe the mom's story or the father's story this morning when we were going over it. And we went over it early in the morning. I think we went live around 9:30 this morning. I think we ended around 11:30 or something like that. So we were on here for a significant amount of time, and as soon as we saw that video that I just played, we're like, I mean, the whole damn chat. It wasn't just me. It was the whole chat's like, wait, this doesn't feel right. You just seen everybody just typing it, and we had a small crowd this morning. But everybody just knew, and that's what I'm talking about. When we know, we know. I don't give a damn what law enforcement says to us. I don't care how they say, well, we don't have evidence. You can't say that. We can say whatever the heck we want to. We can feel however we want to feel. And just about 90% of my chat felt that there was something wrong with this interview with the mom and that father. I was getting all kinds of icky vibes from Jake. I don't like him. There's something about him. And then when I said that, somebody had dropped, just like somebody did here, and said, oh, he was charged with abuse. And I think it might even have been child abuse of some sort. I would like to see those documentations. If anybody's out there in California and you've got your hands on this, let's just, actually, you know what? You know what? Oh, I can't sign. Let's finish this up, and then I'll take the screen capture off so I can go into Truth Finder and see if we can verify some of this stuff. Check messages. Okay. Messages. There you are. Ooh, we might have a new one. Hold on a second. Let me move this over. Thank you. How do I move that to... Okay. I think I got that. Give me just a second. Let me move this off here, and let me get this one set back up. Okay, let me open an app so I can... There it is. Okay, here we go. Okay. I think we're ready to put you back on the big screen. Okay, we've got a developing story right now, as many of you guys know. So let's go ahead and just get this playing.
Tonight for a 7-month-old baby boy. His mother says he was kidnapped from a Big 5 parking lot in Yucaipa. That mother saying she was changing baby Emmanuel's diaper when someone attacked her and took off with the child.
Tonight, an investigation is underway, but no description of the suspect has been released, and it's unclear if any surveillance video exists. Sarah Welch has the latest developments from Yucaipa.
Sharon, Micah, that is one of the big questions. There doesn't appear to be any security video pointing at the parking spot where the mom was at. And tonight, investigators tell us they have no suspect or vehicle description, but they continue to review security footage. Meantime, the parents are begging for their baby's safe return.
It's just a baby. Just give our son back, please.
A desperate plea from the parents of...
Okay, that's not going to be good enough. Let's go ahead and... Let's look at their faces. I still don't see tears, y'all. Let's go ahead and play it. It's on the big screen. Hold on, let me make sure I got it big. So that way for you guys. Oops, hold on. Sorry. All right. Let's blow their faces up. You know me. Wait, hold on. Let me get this in. Let me take the chat off. Give me a second. And Nope, screen capture. There we go. There we go. Let's get him over just a little bit. There we go. I think that's good. We can see both of their faces. I want you guys to see both of their faces on the big screen, okay? Now I just got to figure out where the heck everything else is. Keep both. Stop. What happened to my... Uh-oh, guys. Well, we have a little bit of a problem here because I can't find my, my screen. I don't know where my screen is. Let's see. There it is. Okay. I found it now. I found it. I must have minimized it. Okay, let me get all this crap off here. Let's look at their face.
Give our son back, please.
A desperate plea from the parents of 7-month-old Emmanuel.
I'm sorry. I didn't see tears. Did we see it? Should we take a poll on this? Did anybody see tears? Did anybody see tears? I just didn't see the tears. I just didn't see the tears, so I'm having a little bit of a problem with it, you know? The wheels, what does it say? Uh-oh, hold on. Sorry, guys, I just lost. The wheels are turning. Go, yep. Oh my gosh, you feel the fake. You do. You absolutely do feel the fakeness. Something's not right here. And the parents are, you know, let's go back to it. I don't see tears. I really don't. I'm not trying to be, like, point my finger at these people. Something is not right. And it seems like they're overcompensating. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're overcompensating here. I don't know why I feel like they're overcompensating, but I feel like they weren't strong enough and they're watching the backlash, you know? And so now they're kind of going all in because you can kind of feel more of the pressure coming out of them. And dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches, it kind of cuts off, so I'll read the whole thing for everybody here. It says, so many red flags, no tears, hit in the back of the head, but eye is bruised. Great point. Great point. Black eye looks in old stages of healing. That is absolutely correct. No redness or swelling to the face or head from the attack. Very great observations. And it says she knows there is no cameras. She knew there was no cameras at the store, ? So, you know, great question. One thing that I did learn in Layla Santinello is there were no cameras inside or outside the stores. There were some cameras that viewed out to the parking lot, but they were very hard to look at. So let's go ahead and see this. I'm telling you, this guy, he's not.
For their baby's safe return.
It's just a baby.
This is where I think they're overcompensating, because look at their faces. They're trying to look distraught. They're trying to have the appearance of being distraught, but you're not seeing the trembling. You're not seeing the tears. The lady looks sadder than the man. I'm telling you, there's something here with that dude. I feel like whatever happened to that child was done at the hands of this man. I'm sorry, I feel that way. And we know domestic violence. We know it all too well. So I'm going to hold off, and I know you guys are probably going to hate this, but I'm going to hold off on mom until we know exactly what we're dealing with here, okay? Because I just think, for me, I want to hold off until I hear a little bit more. If she's culpable, she's culpable. We'll have plenty to blame here. But right now, we have a man that has a history of violence, not a woman that has a history of violence. And we have a woman that is sporting a black eye, okay? So we're going to give this lady, whether you guys agree with it or not, we're going to give mom just a little bit of grace here. Not that it's okay, but we also have to remember who's standing right next to her. She is still in the clutches of this man. And if he did truly injure her child, she know what is expected, what is going to happen to her or maybe her daughter. So we have to take this domestic violence very, very seriously. Do I believe the mother? No, I do not. I believe she is lying. But again, I feel it's de-violence as well. Passion, and that's where I'm at with this, okay? So I'm worried for this woman right now, okay? I have plenty of time to be angry with her later, but right now I am concerned for her well-being as well as her daughter's well-being. That's where my concern is at this moment. I do not trust this man, okay? And he has the history. Did anybody have a history on the mom? I would have to think that if Pascal is going to pull and pay for the history, the background for the husband half, I would have to think he would have searched for the mother as well, and probably nothing there. Now that's a big leap for me because I haven't looked into it. So please don't take that as the gospel. I don't know whether she has a history or not, but right now I'm looking at a terrified woman. Is she terrified because she's responsible for her son's demise? Or is she terrified because she just watched her husband hurt her child and she feels hopeless and helpless and is still in his clutches? We have to be very careful for this, and I hope law enforcement gets their stuff, in a row, because it's very possible this woman needs help. It is very, very possible this woman needs help. I'm not saying that that's what it's going to ultimately be, but we do have to look at that angle. This is a 7-month-old child, and I don't like that guy. I don't like him.
Just give our son back, please.
A desperate plea from the parents of 7-month-old Emmanuel, now missing for more than 24 hours.
He was wearing a black onesie with a Nike swoosh on him.
That's what Emmanuel Haro says her.
She looks exhausted. Yeah, but we also know how domestic violence is. I mean, you're in their clutches whether you're around them or not. You are terrified of what will happen if you set them off. We all know this. If you've been in a domestic violence situation, and we can hold her accountable. There are things that she should have done even if it risked her life. Even if it risked her life, she should have done things. We can all agree to that. But we don't know what I'm just saying we're going to show this lady just a tad bit of grace here until we get to the bottom of what really is going on. No matter how we look at it, we're not giving this lady a free pass. She has every opportunity to stand in. She could have put her life on the line for her kid. She is right there in front of cameras. She can scream to the top of her lungs right there in front of those cameras. He did it. She could do a lot. So we can't give her a free pass over a 7-month-old child, but we can try to get to the bottom of what happened before we really go in. I don't like the father, and I'm still willing to wait to find out what is going on here. We know that this is hitting the BS test, okay? We know that from the very out the gate, this story already didn't sound right. So, but I don't know where to go. I don't want to be too passive, right? Because at the end of the day, there's a 7-month-old child that we need to find. And I have a funny feeling we're not going to find him in a good condition because of what we're seeing right now. But at the end of the day, she is mom. She's got to step up to the plate. Especially if she's not involved, she's got to step up to the plate. She's got to be the savior to her daughter. And that's if we're reading this story correctly. Okay? That's if we're reading this story correctly. But I really do feel like that man is abusive. And then we find out he has a history of abuse. That means he's been arrested for a crime related to abuse. So we have to take that into consideration. That woman has to be terrified of this man. No matter how you look at what is going on in this situation, I'm pretty sure I'm accurate on this. I don't know 100%, but I really do believe my theory is accurate.
Her baby was last wearing when she says someone snatched him out of her pickup in this parking lot in front of Big 5 off Yucaipa Boulevard in Yucaipa.
I was gonna get the diaper and somebody said hola, and I didn't see nothing since.
Haro says the bruise below her eye is from someone punching her out as she began to change her son in the back seat of her pickup.
I don't know how you can get hit in the eye without leaving a red mark. You know, she was obviously in the chances of a situation like what we believe we're looking at here, and for those that don't know, what do I believe we're looking at here? What I believe we're looking at here is a violent altercation that ensued in the house that ended up, one of the children were involved in it, and it was probably the 7-month-old child. In that process of that fight, that child lost their life. I don't know how far in conjunction with her reporting, because all of us can acknowledge that that eye looks several days old, at least a couple at minimum. So we may be looking at a situation here where this child lost his life several days prior to the reporting of the event. So that gave them a head start. So now law enforcement needs to find out who was the last third party to see this baby. Is it a family member? And how can you trust a family member and make sure that the family member's not trying to cover for these? Because let's face it, that husband didn't get that way overnight. He had probably a mommy that let him, or maybe an abusive father that taught him how to treat a woman. We don't know. We don't know. But law enforcement has finally come out, and this article was from, so we're 3 hours by about 4:30. So within the last several hours, authorities have now come out and said, look, unfortunately, the mom has some inconsistencies. And unfortunately, we know for a fact when a parent has inconsistencies and has been caught in a lie. Just on Jaden Spicer, the what was that team that went out there? We Are the Essentials. They are military and law enforcement, retired law enforcement that makes up that organization. And they said one of the main things is the parents aren't searching. We're not hearing them search. They're not part of any search party that I'm aware of. So we never see them search. And as soon as they start lying, we know we got problems. So now we're in a position where they're not out searching, and now law enforcement is saying that we found lies. So now we have a major problem here and a 7-month-old child missing. This is not a situation where I believe we have a child that has been trafficked. I feel like we have a child that has been abused to death. And I believe that the two people that are on our screens right now know what happened. And I'm very, very, very scared for their young daughter. And I think the family, if the state has not proactively taken that child out of that home with the history of that man, then I think the family needs to step up and go get that child and make sure that child is safe. Because I don't even believe the mom is safe. Even if she's responsible or knows what's going on, I still don't believe she is safe, and I am concerned about her well-being, and I'm saying that from a place of true concern. And I think any woman that is sitting in my chat that has been abused should have the same concerns. We have plenty of time to be angry later, but we need to make sure that a child and a woman is safe. And I think that needs to be a top priority for law enforcement as well, and I hope that it is. I hope that it is. There's no excuse for a woman standing by. I don't care. We just watched The Devil Den, the murder in Devil's Den, Arkansas, and that mother and father laid down their life for their child. There is no excuse, abused woman or not, to allow a man to hurt your child to death if that is the case. So this lady will never get a free pass on this channel that has a lot of beautiful women in here that have gone through a serious walk, but they stood up for their child. They stood up for their child. We do not allow women, even abused women, to stand by and allow their children to be injured to death or injured at all. You want to take the beatings? Nobody's going to stop you from taking the beatings. We can try to help you, but nobody's going to stop. But as soon as that goes to your children, that's it. You get no sympathy from us. Do we have trolls in here? I haven't seen any. So my mods must be doing pretty well. And we don't care, because anybody that's in here being nasty on this precious baby's channel, this story, you are a disgusting individual. Trust me, it is not us. This child deserves to be seen. This child's story deserves to be out there. Deserves to. All right, guys. Well, we know that right now, Justin for All on Clutch the Pearls is, I believe he's going to be going over a story. I saw that he's going live at 8 o'clock. I'm done with my day. This was something that I wanted to come to you guys with because we talked on this earlier today. And now that law enforcement is agreeing with all of us, because we came in here, we did a poll. These things are problems for us. We knew before this evening that this was going to be how this story started turning. Is it because we have a crystal ball? No. It's because we go over these stories, and they are the same stories over and over and over again. They just have different faces, different names, and slightly different details. That's how we figure this out so quickly. Because we run the same story. Same story every day. So let's work on trying to get these stories to subside. That's what we need to be working on. Tougher laws. Guys, we got voting coming up. I know you guys don't want to get into politics, but 2026 is coming up. And this is what I'm going to say. We are voting for law and order. We are voting for law and order. In Tennessee, my Tennessee family, you guys got to rock it out this year with law and order, because we need your help to change the dynamic and culture in Tennessee so we can start getting some of our cases solved. We've got a lot of kids gone in Tennessee, a lot more per capita than we do here in Florida, and that's a problem for me. And we've got to unite, and we have got to start bringing some of these kids home. So you guys have a great night. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you tomorrow. And until then,